Did you know Africa had a library older than Oxford University? Deep in the scorching sands of Mali, where the Niger River bends, stood the great library of Timbuktu, a treasure trove of knowledge hidden for centuries. But why does the world rarely talk about it? Before Oxford was even an idea, Timbuktu's scholars were solving equations, mapping the stars, and documenting medical breakthroughs, centuries ahead of Europe's Renaissance. But wait, how did Timbuktu rise to such prominence? Timbuktu wasn't just a city. It was the heart of the gold-salt trade, where merchants didn't just trade goods, they traded knowledge. These weren't just books. They were blueprints for civilization, covering astronomy, medicine, law, and engineering. Yet for centuries, Europe dismissed it as a myth. Why? When French explorer René Caillié arrived in 1828, he expected a barbaric wasteland. Instead, he found vast libraries and schools filled with scholars. He later admitted Timbuktu was far greater than Europe believed. When European explorers stumbled upon Timbuktu, they refused to believe Africans could produce such knowledge. They called it a myth, an illusion. But the evidence was right there. In the late 1800s, European colonists began collecting Timbuktu's texts. Some ended up in private collections, others vanished. To this day, thousands of manuscripts remain locked in European museums. Who decides who gets to own knowledge? Pause for a second. How many African inventions do you know? What if I told you Timbuktu's scholars mastered astronomy before Galileo? But what was in these manuscripts that made them so dangerous to colonial powers? One manuscript details how African doctors performed C-sections using herbal anesthetics, centuries before Western medicine. Another describes planetary orbits with stunning accuracy, long before Europe's so-called Age of Enlightenment. Recently, researchers uncovered previously unknown texts, filled with advanced geometric calculations. Could this rewrite history? Some texts hint at complex hydraulic systems, while others describe sophisticated medical instruments that predate European designs by centuries. Timbuktu wasn't the only ancient intellectual hub. The Library of Alexandria was another legendary center of knowledge. But their fates were very different. Alexandria was destroyed by fire. Timbuktu was hidden in secret locations to survive. Both held advanced scientific and mathematical knowledge, centuries ahead of their time. But while Alexandria is widely celebrated, Timbuktu's legacy remains largely ignored. In recognition of its historical importance, UNESCO designated Timbuktu as a World Heritage Site, working to protect and preserve its fragile manuscripts. During times of crisis, UNESCO and local scholars have even secretly smuggled thousands of texts to safety, ensuring that Timbuktu's intellectual legacy lives on. If Timbuktu's knowledge had been embraced instead of hidden, would Africa have led the Industrial Revolution? Would the world be different today? The Library of Timbuktu isn't just history. It's proof of an African golden age the world tried to erase.